I'd like today to talk about family systems of addiction. The British psychiatrist Donald Winnicott once said, "There's no such thing as a baby." And what he was talking about was that it's impossible to understand a baby outside the context of that baby's father and mother and caregiving environment. Well, as we talk about families and family systems as they pertain to addiction, the same principle applies, where we must incorporate an integrative view if we're going to work with the addict in recovery, including his or her system or family home environment. Now, right away, some people might worry, are you talking about blaming the spouse or the family for the addict's behavior? Or aren't you going easy on the addict? And I would respond by saying far from it, actually. What we're wanting to do is take seriously every possible angle of what got the addict to such behavioral, cognitive, and emotional extremes, as well as resources that could be most instrumental in the addict's healing and recovery process. Now, if enabling is a kind of ignoring of important and undeniable data, then family systems appreciation, to me, is just the opposite. As integral recovery theorist Ken Wilber, who I've spoken about in previous videos, puts it, context is everything. While I'm thinking of it, this book has just come out this week, Integral Recovery, and it's adapted the model of transpersonal theorist, psychologist Ken Wilber into applications that are integrative, very much in the spirit of what we're doing here at Cal Southern, and very much in the spirit of what we're presenting now, looking at one angle that needs to be integrated into treatment and recovery, namely working with the family system. So if context is everything, let's examine that just a bit more. Psychologist Misty Hook in 2012 summarized the research that's looking at the impact of couples and family counseling on outcomes in recovery from addiction, and found out that these modalities, couples and family therapy, actually are superior to individually oriented treatment modalities and also peer group counseling in working with recovery. So it makes sense that we observe as closely as we can how addiction occurs within the family system, how it affects the family system, and vice versa, how the family system affects and can hopefully be involved in the healing of the addiction. When I talk about family system, I'm really talking about the spouse, the life partner, and the children of the substance abusers primarily. I believe it's important to say that of course we know that family members are doing their best in responding to a difficult situation with addiction. Yet family systems theorists also make note of a phenomenon that's important for us to spend a moment with, namely family homeostasis. This is the idea that in a family, even when the addiction has horrible negative consequences, not only for the addict but for the family, that the family will sometimes ignore or otherwise enable the addictive behavior. It's counterintuitive. Why would a family do this? Well, to put it in terms of family homeostasis, the knowns of addiction in the family may be preferable to the unknowns of non-addiction. Psychologists over the years have noted the very strong correlation between our experiences of ambiguity in terms of what's going on in our environment and our experience of anxiety. There's a very strong correlation between ambiguity and anxiety. Turns out that we all strongly prefer the tried and the true, even in this case, as we're talking about addiction, to the ambiguity, hence anxiety, of something that's unfamiliar. So for example, any real movement towards sobriety is going to have a huge impact on the family's equilibrium or its homeostasis. So in fact, what we so often see is that the addicted family system, we're talking about the whole family now being involved in supporting and maintaining the addiction, that the family system is maintained on a high dose of what one author calls the pain body. And all he means by that is that in a family that's characterized by addiction and enabling, the family environment most often has a lot of unwholesome patterns, for example, of rage or repressed emotion, all of which result not only in emotional complications, but even in medical disorders. So it's what we're talking about here has ramifications not just for the addict, but for the entire family, and in fact can make people sick. It can be killing. All the more reason then that counselors must include the entire family in addictions treatment. In sessions, family counselors focus on not only the roles that we've been talking about here in terms of family homeostasis, where family dynamics can actually perpetuate the addiction, maintaining it to keep things kind of normal and as expected. So family counselors focus not only on examining these dynamics, but also really concentrate interventions toward changing the ways that family members interact with each other, all of which supports effective recovery. Thank you.